I hit the presentation, I'll need you to let me know if you can see it, please. Okay. One of the first things that we felt was important to tell parents is also one of the things that we need kids to know how to do themselves. Because now that we're on this online platform, we don't have the children in front of us with a book in front of us that we can all clearly see and share. If we're sharing a book with them, if we're doing a small guided reading group, everything that we put out for them is through the computer. So what often happens is that we see the kids squinting. So one of the first things that we need you to do with us, and that we need you to teach your children to do as well, is how to enlarge the presentation to make it easier for you. So in order to enlarge the presentation, we're going to need you to look for a pin.
Flip it over, Maria.
So the way you're going to find the pin is you're going to move your little cursor above my presentation, and it'll look something like this, right? Once you move the cursor over it, you're going to have some choices pop up. One is the pin, one is a little eye and a little grid. If you click on the pin, it's telling the computer, hey, focus on this. But then you need to take a second step, which is close your grid. So at the top of your screen, the right way, yes, you will see something like this. You have a little grid. If there's no line over it, that means you want to see all of the little squares. What we need you to do is click on that, and that should make my presentation bigger for you so that it takes up most of the screen and you may only have a couple of people on the side. That will allow you to see. This is important, especially like I said, when we're showing a book to the students and they need to see the print. It'll allow them to focus on the story that we're showing them without any of the outside distractions. So if you can go ahead and do that for us right now, that will be really helpful in you seeing our presentation as well. So once you do it, you will see the line going across that little grid, just like you see here.
This also allows for the little ones. Some of them get easily distracted with their friends and they start wanting to talk or make noises or make faces. So this will eliminate having all the friends on there and for them to have more focus on whatever the teaching is, whatever the teacher is trying to present to them.
The other thing that we thought was really important for everybody to learn to do was how to present the screen, just as I am doing right now. Parents should learn how to do this, because whenever they need help from a teacher, the first thing I automatically say, hey, can you present your screen to me so that I can help you? It's a lot easier to help if I can see the cursor moving any which way than if I'm just trying to go off the top of my head. So the steps that I'm going to show you right now are the steps that you can take in order to show your screen to the other person or to a group of people. So what you will see is at the bottom, sometimes you're not going to see a bar. But if you move your mouse over at the bottom, you will see a bar like this come up, right? Which is this. You see my presentation? It's at the very bottom. If you don't see it, just move your finger over that bottom part and it should pull up. What you need to look for is this little square with an arrow. If you click on that, it's going to make a screen pop up, which is this screen right here. It's going to give you 3 options because it wants to know what you want to share. You're telling it that you want to share, but it wants to know what you want to share. So if you click on the first item, your entire screen, that means that you're allowing the person who you're working with to see the whole content of your screen. After that, you're going to see another screen come up that will ask you, okay, what part of your screen do you want to show? It's important that you click just on the corner of the biggest part so if you see there's a small square rectangle, actually a slightly bigger one and an even bigger one. It doesn't matter where you click as long as you click in the bigger portion. As soon as you click on that, it'll activate a blue button that says share. That share button is always there, but if it's not activated, it'll be grayed out, so you won't be actually able to see it. Often what happens is people are saying, I'm there, I'm clicking, but nothing's coming up. I don't see anything else. Really what that means is that you haven't clicked here. And so you're not going to get that share button, and that's what's going to keep you from sharing. So just keep that in mind, that if you want to share your screen with the teacher, you want to go to present now, your entire screen. You want to click on the larger portion of the screen, and then you want to click on the share button. What that will do is it'll start the process of sharing your screen with somebody, and you will see that there's some circles showing you that it's in the process. It can have a delay, so sometimes you can see it going, but the person on the other side won't see it right away. So you just kind of have to be patient. And remember, the things that we're showing you right now are things that we want you to go over with your children, because in class, often they will have trouble with a task that we have given them. And the easiest way to solve the problems that they're having is if they share their screen with us, because often the trouble that they're having is something very simple that we can easily catch if they're able to share their screen, especially the older ones. I work with first graders. Mrs. Rios works with kindergartners. It's harder for them, so it's usually a parent doing that sharing for us. The next section that we wanted to go over with is are the tools that we use to have the children participate with us. Because obviously we can't, just have them raise their hand all the time, or we can't have them just, yell out answers. We wouldn't normally do that in class anyway. But there are some very specific tools that we use in the platform for them to participate in class with us. And one of them is the chat. Now, the chat, I always think that people who created these platforms weren't thinking of little people in mind. I don't think any of us anticipated us going in this direction. The chat is right in the same toolbar as your grid. So if you look at my presentation, this is the grid. If you have the line across, that means you are not seeing all the smaller squares. The person that's there will tell you how many people are on the call, and the box over to the right of that is the chat. When a teacher asks a question, or when students have a question for the teacher, one of the things that they can do is they can activate the chat. So if they press on the chat, what happens is you get a long bar like this. And this can be very tricky for the little ones. I know it was tricky for me at first, because you have all this empty white space that makes you think that you should be typing here, and that's not the case at all. If you look at our big red arrows, the line where you type is at the very bottom. It's not as easy to see as you would like it to be. And the part that you have to click on in order to send your message is this little airplane looking icon over to the right, but that won't come up unless you have actually started typing something. So we will try that right now, actually. If you can press on your chat icon, and at the bottom just write hello. As soon as you write hello, the little airplane icon will show up, and then you can press on that and it'll send your message for everybody to see. So we have our first hello. There we go. So often I can easily say, like in first grade, we're working on combinations of numbers that make 10. I can show them a quick card, and I can say, okay, boys and girls, I have 6. How many more do I need to make 10? And they go to their chat box, they open it, they write their number, and then they send it to us, and then we can all see. And that's a very quick way for us to be able to have them interact with us. Another way that they can interact with us is through the icons that you have over to the left of your screen, which look like this. So one of them is the raising your hand feature. So if you click on that, can you go ahead and click on that? It'll just let the teacher know that you have a question, and it will appear for the teacher over on the left-hand side. Some students will sometimes not have this, but if they do have it, that's a quick way of having them raise their hand. The other option that we have is the thumbs up hand. And what happens, at first I thought, oh, that's just kind of to show support. But what happens is that once you click on it, it'll give you a lot more options that you can work with. So it'll be, if I just read a story to them and I ask them if they like it, they might want to give it a thumbs down, thumbs up. If a student, a friend just presented something and they liked it, they want to show support with the clapping hands. These are all options that are available to them.
They don't have those options on the phone. We just had a question. It will be on the Chromebook. It should be on the Chromebook, or we can get it to go on the Chromebook and on your computer, a larger device, but not on the cell phone.
And just a couple of other things with the icons that we use all the time is a microphone. If you see that it's red, that means it's off. It's very hard for students to hear the teacher or to listen to a presentation if even just one microphone is on. So that's why it's important that they follow whatever directions the teacher has given them in terms of wanting to share, either raising their physical hand or raising the hand on the emoji screen, so that they can have a turn to turn on their mic.
If they're having difficulty with that, they can Control D will also turn the mic on and off. I know sometimes when you hover towards the bottom, sometimes that bar doesn't always come up right away. So if you teach them also the control button with D, that also will turn the mic on and off.
The other big icon that's important for us is the camera. If it's red with the line across, that means it's off. If it looks like this, that means it's on. Typically for the younger students, if a parent wants to come and help them during class and they don't want to come in the screen, you usually see the heads over on the side trying to sneak in. It's okay for you to turn off the camera while you're helping and then turn it back on as soon as you're done. But just know that if it's red, it's off.
Yeah.
And then the big one is the phone. It's red all the time, just as a glaring reminder that if you click on that, you're going to end the call. There's two ways to end the call. The top part of your screen where you have all of the tabs, our call is the one with the red dot. If you click on that X, it'll end the meeting. If you click on the phone, it'll end the meeting. Kids know this already, but I think what's most important that you know is that just as easily as you can end the call, you can get back on the call. And it's important for kids to know how to do that themselves, because there are going to be many reasons why they will accidentally end the call. And so they just need to know not to panic, just come right back in, and then everything will be fine. The internet is often making them freeze, so they have to close it and start it again. That's usually the quickest way to get their internet to start working again. Or sometimes when they're trying to mute and unmute, they accidentally hang up. So just remind them that if that happens, just to get back on the call as quickly as they can, and things will be fine. So other than going over the basics of the icons that are in the call and that we use the most, what we wanted to discuss with you today is how to access the curriculum and how to turn in work. Because that's obviously an important piece. This year, something that's new, we started with it last year, is the Hello ID icon. This year we're using it more widely. So it's important that children and yourselves learn how to get onto it easily, because we're often going in and out of it during the day. The way you're going to access our curriculum is by finding this icon, and it's at the top right-hand corner of your screen towards the end of your search bar. So if you look at your search bar where you write an address that you want to search for, at the very end, you'll see a little star, and to the right of that, you'll see something that looks like this. If you click on that, and it's your first time clicking on it for the day or ever, it's going to first ask you who you are. So this is, if you're in your child's account, it'll say, is this you? And it'll have your child's name, and you just have to put in their password. Their password is their birthday. So the first two of their month, day, and the last two of the year. Once you can activate this, you will have a drop-down menu. And on the drop-down menu, you'll have an icon, a red icon like this, that says McGraw-Hill. McGraw-Hill at the elementary level is our curriculum for both reading and math. So it's important that children are familiar with that. In this drop-down menu, you will also find the Google Classroom. There are different ways to get into the Google Classroom. This is one of them, and then we will show you a different way in a minute.
And
the other way, go ahead.
Sorry, for the parent that had, I know there was a high school, if you look there, you should also see other important things there from the high school student that you will need, like Apex Learning, if they're having an Apex class, or those different tabs are also accessible to you for the high school student as well, or junior high, any of the students. All the programs that are listed there, like we as the elementary school focus on the Google Classroom. I know high school teachers are also using Google Classroom, but for example, McGraw-Hill is mostly for the primary school, but you can see if you scroll down on your child's account, depending if it's on your high schooler's account or the middle school or the primary, you're going to see the drop-down menu that will have all the different types of programs that they use.
So the other way to access the Google Classroom, if your child's teacher is using Google Classroom, I don't believe that all teachers use it, but I think many of us do, or if not most, is through this little grid that is over to the right of your screen. If you won't see it right now because you have a conference call on, but when you just activate your Google screen, you will see this on the right side, okay? So if you click on that, one of the options will be the Google Classroom icon. The next big thing that we need the kids to know about, and also you as parents, is the tabs. The tabs are those little, if you think of file folders, they have that little part at the top that have the names of each file. If you look at the very top of your screen, it's the skinniest part. You can barely see it sometimes. And the more tabs that you have open, the smaller they get. The tricky part for the children is that for some reason, the one that is active, it's a white, and the ones that are not active are a faded gray. So it's not a blaring difference. And they have a hard time realizing, wait, if I'm on the call right now, I still have other things open, but I can't see them. If I need to go to another tab, we often have them open different programs. They need to click on those tabs, and they're still on the call. So in class, for example, if I wanted the kids to go to Google Classroom to access one of the assignments that I sent them, I would need them to go to Google Classroom. But what happens if you're in a call and you go straight to Google Classroom, it will end the call. the students need to know that before they can go anywhere else, and believe me, this was kind of a funny game for us teachers at first, because I would always exit my meeting all the time at first. They have to start another tab. They have to open a new tab before they can go anywhere else, unless they want to finish the call. So this little plus sign at the top tells you, hey, you're going to start a new tab, and that's going to function separately. Why do they need to learn to go to the new tab? Again, remember, the teacher's going to say, hey, go to Epic and read a story. Go to MobyMax and work there for a little bit. Or go to the Google Classroom and complete one of the assignments that I just sent you. So if the teacher's saying this, what they will see is their Google Classroom and then the little plus sign so that they can open up another tab. The other reason why this is important is this is what we often see. And this is what we were talking to you about earlier when I said there's a slight difference between the one that you're on and the ones that you're not on. This is white and these are gray. So what often happens is the kids will, maybe their computer froze, or maybe they can't find their meeting because they're on a different tab. So what they do, they start a new meeting. And pretty soon we start seeing 2 or 3 of the same student in the call. And they don't know, they can hear us, they know that they're in, but they don't know where they're at, or they can't access their little toolbar at the bottom because they're not on the correct tab. So it's important that they know about tabs and that they know how to switch back and forth. So if I just sent them to go to work on Google Classroom, they need to know that when they hear my voice, they come back to the meeting. The meeting is the tab with the red dot and a camera. It used to look like this. Just yesterday they changed it, and it's a new little icon. They're changing things on us all the time. So when you have time with your children, just make sure that they know how to navigate between tabs and that they know how to close meetings that they don't need. So for example, if you see this one is not an active meeting because it doesn't have that red dot. If I don't need it, I can close it. I can close it. I can close it. I can close it. Because sometimes if you have several children in the house or several people online at the same time, having too many things open can slow down their computer. Okay, so those were the basics of what we wanted to share with you in terms of the tabs and the icons. The next part that we want to show you is about the work that your children may be receiving from their teachers. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. Mrs. Rios, did you?
Yeah, you want to stop presenting for me to make it, I'm on the Chromebook right now. Okay. And then they can see what it is to go into the Google Classroom.
So you're going to present that part, yes?
I'm going to present. I'm going to go in and I'm going to go in from the waffle.
So remember, earlier when we started, I showed you how you could present your screen. She's doing this herself right now. Your children have Chromebooks, just like we wanted to do it through a Chromebook, just like we would expect them to do it, just so that you can see that there is a little bit of a delay. So oftentimes the kids will get a little bit stressed out because they're something is happening, but they want that immediacy where, okay, do you see it? We don't see it yet, but it's going.
And let me know if you see it because it says it's presenting.
So now that she's presenting, don't forget to pin her presentation and to turn off your grid so that you can see her bigger.
Can you guys see anything?
We can see it. So the first thing she's going to do, remember?
Okay, so you can see me here going to the, okay, perfect. Okay.
Yeah. So she's going to open a new tab, because if she doesn't, it'll end the call, and then we will all laugh at her.
I'm going to go to a new tab. And then once I'm in that new tab,
she needs to go find her Google Classroom, and just remember also that there's 2 ways to find it. That
so you can go here, or you can go here. This is what we were talking about, that waffle. And then here's the classroom icon. You click here. And if your children have had a Google Classroom in the past, that will still be on there. So they'll have more than one class. But if they haven't, then they'll have less. As a teacher, we tend to create and become part of many classes. So for example, on mine, you will see several. But for your students, it's important for them to recognize the current class that they're in, so they know how to select that specific class and go into that class specifically.
And if you saw right now that she clicked on the Google Classroom icon, and the tab that is open has that little wheel that's turning, just make sure that your children know that that means that it's working, it's going. Give it a moment, and that way they don't start a new one again. Again, the little ones don't have the patience all the time, and they just keep clicking and clicking, and before you know it, you have a lot of the same thing still not going, because now you have more trying to activate at the same time.
It usually helps if you see nothing's spinning now. So nothing's spinning on my top, see the top tab, it's solid now. So then it's basically saying, okay, ready to go. So now I'm going to pick my class. And in my class, most teachers will, this is your stream. This is how you connect to your Google meeting. Most teachers will have their assignments under this tab up here where it says classwork. So when you click on that tab, things will drop down. They'll have headings like classroom or maybe science or Spanish, whatever, however it is that they have it. And you will have different types of assignments listed.
Okay, so what we wanted to show you are the 3 most popular types of assignments that we use. One being Jamboard, the other one being a Google Docs, and the last one being a Google Slides. 2 of them, you follow the same exact process to turn work in, and one you don't. The one is the easiest one, so we'll go through that one first, which is the Google Docs. So if you see the top one, she's going to click on it. And just a reminder for you, if the circle next to the label of the assignment is a darker color, that means your child hasn't done it yet. If it's a faded color, that means it's complete. It'll still show, but it's complete. So she clicked on the assignment. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, so I'm going to submit something, and then you'll see that this will turn gray. Okay, so we're going to go first to view assignment.
Always make sure you go to view assignment. You can kind of see a smaller picture of it, but if you click there, it won't necessarily send you where you need to go. You view assignment, and then you go over to the right, where you will see your child's name right above a turn-in button. So do you see where her hand is pointing? It says Jessica Rios, because in this case, she's the student. She's going to click on the assignment, and if you look at the top, it activates another tab. This is why the tabs are so important, because once they're done with the assignment, the child has to go back to the tab right before that to turn in. So again, remind your children, if the little wheel is turning, that means it's still loading, because all of the options, all of the tools will not be activated until that is completely loaded. And for the most part, with us, with the little ones, what we're doing is saying, work on your hard copy, on your notebook or on your workbook, and just upload a picture of your work. And that's why you will have often just empty sheets with instructions. because they will be doing the work on their own and they will just be uploading it. But if you see right now, most of the icons, most of the tool options got activated because it's almost done loading. Before that, everything was grayed out. So that one, for example, a child has to put in a picture of the work. There's 2 places where you can put a picture. The most easy place is an icon of mountains that you will have at the bottom bar. But if you don't see that, you can go to insert. And I think you can see. Oh, there we go.
No, it's here. You just got to give it a minute. So here is this, the one with the mountains that she's talking about. And then here is the word insert. This is the same thing. So either one of those places are going to do the same thing. Insert image here, this square with the mountains. If you click on this, you're going to have a drop-down menu. Okay, sorry about that. And if you go here, you're going to have the same drop-down menu. But here, you see those mountains there again? That's the same one as over there. You click on this arrow. This one takes a little bit longer than the other one. And then you're going to go down to camera. Now for the other ones, this is where you can access anything. If you took a picture or you have it in your drive or you're trying to get something from the web, you can click on the other things. But in our case, because we have the kids and we have them usually do their work on paper and then have them take a picture of it to submit it, then we have this camera. So you have the camera, you get the paper ready. Usually you want to have your child hold it up. And then once you have it centered, you click on this little yellow circle. And once that appears there, now you can go to insert. And it's going to insert that picture there.
And then from there, you can choose to make it bigger. If not, the teacher will have to make it bigger herself so she can see it. Yeah. So again, this is the easiest way to turn in work, because if you look at the top right-hand corner, there's a share button. Okay, this is where I always think it's not the most common sense way to do things. Even though that's the most obvious button, that's not the one we need them to push. We need them to push the one to the left of it. That's not a bright, bold color. You can barely see it. It says turn in. So they just need to click on the turn in button. And then it will ask again. It doesn't mean that anything was done wrong. It just wants to make sure that that's what you want to turn in. So it'll take the children back to the original page where the assignment was, and it'll just ask again. So if you see the little circle still going, that little blue bar is going back and forth, it just means it needs a little bit of time to process everything, but it's working. And so we're back to that screen that we were at before, and then it's just going to say again, are you sure you want to turn in? And then you say, yes, turn in. There you go. And so as soon as she hits turn in, the teacher automatically sees it under the assignment that she has, under the heading that she has. If a child hits share, it gets sent out, but it gets sent out in a different way, and the teacher may not see it. So if you notice right under her name right now, there's an unsubmit button. If for some reason the teacher says, hey, what happened? I can't see your picture, or I don't see your work, you can go there, unsubmit, and put up your work again and hit submit again, turn in. So until you hit unsubmit, it will not allow you to have access to that assignment. So that's how you turn in work using Google Docs. That's the easiest one. The other program that we wanted to show you was through Google Slides and Jamboard, and they both, it requires an extra step, but they're both the same. So we will show you that one right now. So remember, they have to be in their class. They have to go to classwork. And once
And
they go to classwork, the list of their assignments will show up.
See on the top how I have these tabs? This is for my previous assignment. I don't need those. That's just going to slow everything down. So I'm going to click out of them because I already turned that in. Now, you see, that was the assignment I turned in. Now it's no longer blue, it's gray. So now I'm going to go to my next assignment, which is a Jamboard. I'm going to go to view assignment.
View assignment. Always remember to go view assignment. Don't click on the image of the assignment.
Again, you go and you click on where your child's name is here. All your work is always usually in this corner over here.
That's called the Jamboard. It's a type of whiteboard where students will be able to write directly on the document itself. There's pens, there's little post-it notes, there's highlighters, there's also the option to upload pictures, there's the option to add text. The teacher will obviously explain what she wants done in this. But remember, if you look at the very top, Mrs. Rios, if you can point out the pages, there we go. So this one, for example, was one that we used in first grade where the kids had to match the post-it notes so that they could make 10 with the numbers. So 5 and 5 make 10, 8 and 2 make 10. So the child can manipulate whatever it is that is on there. Or can you point over to the left, Mrs. Rios, to the toolbar? If you see where her cursor is, it'll show you all of the options that you have there to use in that particular program. And over at the top, because sometimes it'll have 2 pages, you can see the page that you're on. Can you go to the top where it shows you the pages, Mrs. Rios?
I'm not sure what you're saying.
You know how right now you're on the first slide? If you wanted to go to the next slide of the Jamboard itself.
Oh, here, I'm sorry. Right here, when it says 1 of 2, you can click here and
it'll show you the second one. It'll show you the third one. What happens then when you're done, let's assume she's done with her work. Again, at the top, there's that share button. You don't want to click that. But in this case, there's no turn in button there. In this case, they need to go to the tab before. So if you look at the top, there's that tab right before the Jamboard. You click on that.
This is why it's important that once you do an assignment to get rid of the assignment, because if not, you're going to have a bunch of assignments here. And if you don't remember the title of your assignment, you're going to be like, oh, where is it? Where do I go? So remember, once you finish the assignment, get out of the assignment to open the new one. So now we're going to go back. This assignment was called Combinations of 10. So I click on the tab that says Combinations of 10. And then again, we're going to do the turn in here where it says here in blue. And then it's always asked you twice, turn in again. And then we also have the same thing. If you made a mistake or you want to check it again, you're going to go back to the unsubmit. So once again, I've completed my Jamboard that's up here. So I am going to click out of this because I am done. I don't want that tab to stay there. I want to go back now to my assignments. So remember, you go to classwork. Now this again is also great because it's already done. Now the last one that we wanted to show you are the Google slides. So again, you go to view assignment.
That might not be labeled correctly. Can you go to the top one?
Oh, is it a Jamboard? Oh, it is a Jamboard. Okay. So let me go back. And that back arrow will also take you back to where you were in the classroom area.
And just keep in mind that the colors on the little circles are not always going to be blue. It depends on, it coordinates with the color that the teacher has chosen for the main screen of the classroom. For the banner, So if you don't have those same colors, you don't have to. It'll just be a darker shade if you haven't completed the task, and a gray if it's complete. So, yeah, that one.
Okay.
So this one is Google Slides. Again, for all three of them, you're going to go to View Assignment in order to open it. It takes you to that next page, and then you go over to the right. So the good thing is it's the same step over and over for all three of those options. The only difference is how you turn in. On the Google Docs, the turn in button is on the assignment itself, and on the other two, you will have to come back to the assignment tab.
Okay. So once you go to this area here on the right where it says your work, you click where your child's name is. That will open up the assignment.
And this was a first grade assignment, so that I believe the children were practicing syllabus in Spanish, and they just had to work on making syllabus with the letter tiles, and it just required them moving. So another thing that the kids, especially the little ones that are still newer to the use of a mouse or to the pad, they need to know how to move things across and how to drag. If you see that the top is still all gray, it's because it's not done loading. Once it's completely done loading, it will allow the child to move the items around. And once the items have been moved around, the assignment is complete. She will need to go back to the tab with the work on it, which was
sorry, it reloaded. So basically when they finish the assignment here, again, you're going to want to go back to the name of it, which was Classwork Slides. And then you're going to go back once again, follow the same steps. You go to turn in. And once again, you go to turn in again. And I'm done with that assignment. So I'm going to click the X out of that. I go back to where it says test class. And again, when you go to the classwork, again, you'll see that that is no longer blue. It is now gray. So everything that was completed is gray, and everything that still needs to be completed is a darker color.
Okay, so that was pretty much what we wanted to show you. Really quick before we finish this call, I just want to show you what the teacher will see on her end. Once the children have submitted the work, let me see if I can present my screen to you. I'm already in my classroom as a teacher. So if I click on one of my assignments, it'll tell me right here, 19, is my screen up, Mrs. Rios?
Not yet. On my end, not yet. There it is. It's coming up right now.
Is it going?
Yes, it says presentation. And you guys, if you're on, you can give us a thumbs up if you see it. And that, perfect. Okay.
So on my end as a teacher, it'll say 19 students turned in this assignment, 8 have not. And then I can click on the 19 and I can see who has turned it in very quickly. And then it'll give me another list of who did not. Again, the reason why it's important not to share on that blue button that you see on the assignment itself is because it'll send it out to the world, but we just don't know where. It might go to the email, it might go to somebody else's email, depending on what they select. And just remember that the way that the assignments showed in the class that Mrs. Rios was using was a little bit different. Your child's teacher may be using other methods of organizing the work. For example, with my class, I organize the assignments by week so that it doesn't get too overwhelming. And I put big red emoji dots so that they know, hey, this is homework, turn it in. Or, hey, this is classwork. We already worked on it in class. Don't worry about it at home. But that way it's there for the parents to see. Okay? So that's all we wanted to go over tonight. Thank you for joining us. I hope it was helpful. I know we've gone through it a lot with our children and with the parents of our students. So hopefully it was helpful to you tonight as well.
Just glad everyone could be here. This recording will be posted on the district website in a couple days if you want to go back over it and watch it again. Thanks so much, everybody, for being there.